Excited to be back home in Israel. We are live on YouTube and Facebook now, back on track, back on the game. I have a lot to cover with you today. And we are live on Facebook right now. How are you guys doing? It's Bitcoin the Beating, founder and creator of Bitcoin's Pulse Club system, where we are helping people become crypto millionaire. And this is today in Crypto Show, 1st of June. I'm back to Israel. There's a lot of stuff happening in the Bitcoin cryptocurrency space as usual, and I am super excited because the next 6 months can be transformational for the industry and can be absolutely transformational for you, because the next 6 months will depict a lot of changes in the crypto game, and a lot of new money, billions of dollars, are going to flow into the market. So let's get started. I want to share with you the current cryptocurrency market capitalization and what we have going on right now. So we are at $328 billion right now. As you can see, not a lot of positive big changes in the crypto assets. We call them digital assets, right? Not a bull market. We are still in a bearish market. Bitcoin trading at $7,430 right now. I'll make my screen a little bit lower here. Ethereum at $574, Ripple $0.6, Bitcoin Cash 985. So you see it's a lot of -1, -2% or so, and it's a great time to buy Bitcoin right now. According to the cryptocurrency hedge fund manager, who manages a lot of funds into hundreds of millions of dollars, Dan Moorhead, saying it's cheap. It is cheap to buy cryptocurrency right now, right? Because the markets are down, and before the biggest rally, it's good that you enter the positions right now before the big players are going to come in later into the game. So buying right now and just sitting on it and waiting a year and sell can easily be a 239% return. It happened again and again. It happened 5 times in the last 6 years with Bitcoin. So it is a good time right now to enter into the positions, into the market, as it is oversold, and we're seeing the bearish kind of the bearish trends losing steam. So if we analyze what is happening right now in the market of Bitcoin, we are seeing this transition and the bear cross, so to speak, right? The moving average, the 5 months moving average is now below the 10 months moving average, which is an indicative of a short-term bearish trend. So we can see Bitcoin go down for a little bit in the next while. It can also go up. So it's kind of ambiguous right now of where Bitcoin can be. It can drop as low as $6,000 before before it rise up again. But only if we are going to see above $10,000 convincing rally, we'll start this long-term rally into higher positions. And from the crypto conference that I've been, it's been overwhelming opinion of people that September is going to mark the date when Bitcoin is going to rally again to the previous highs, and when we break this $12,000 per Bitcoin, the path to $19,000 and above will not be that long. Okay, China is warming up to Bitcoin again. As you know, China has been very critical to Bitcoin and banning cryptocurrencies. And even though it has been banning cryptocurrencies, one of the authorities, and Meshel, actually the message in the Global Times editorials, they are coming into more like regulating. Let's not ban it altogether. Let's tighten the regulations around the Bitcoin cryptocurrencies, just like US, Japan, and Korea are doing, and not ban it altogether. So that's a very good news, because China is really holding the majority of all the mining in the world, and it's a mega country that lots of people are using Bitcoin cryptocurrencies inside its realm. So it's a very good news for the crypto community. Over 16 million Americans, or 80% of the countries now, own some form of cryptocurrency. Like, this is a huge, giant leap of what it has been just a year ago. Was about 1%. So we are 8 times more aware, and not just aware, we're owning some sort of a cryptocurrency, which about 5% of Americans own Bitcoin according to the research. Now, I don't know how exactly accurate the research is, and how it is represents the reality, but I think it's quite close, right? And among those people who don't own Bitcoin, there's several different things that people say. Like 27% of people say it's too complicated to understand. Hence why education is so crucial in this area, and why I'm working on developing the course and creating more trainings, because it's imperative to understand the technology behind it and how Bitcoin works, and make it simple to people. My goal is to simplify this and make it as simple as possible for everybody to understand Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and how it all works. 18% of people say it's a scam, which obviously they're uneducated. 17% saying it is a bubble, right? Because of the huge rise, and they say bubble is going to burst, I'm not going to participate in it, etc. But it's a whole different beast and asset class, and the whole different industry with cryptocurrencies. So we cannot say it is a bubble. Like, it doesn't have so much of a history. It's only been around for like 9 years. 11% said it's too difficult to use, and we need to improve in this area, no doubt about that, to trade it back and forth from fiat and Bitcoin and etc., and make it simpler and easier to use in our everyday actions, going to the supermarket or buying, buying clothes, etc. And 6% said there are too many fees, which, compared to the traditional fees, it's really not not a lot of fees at all. Maybe when you're buying fees, it's like 4 or 5% when you're buying it, right? Depending on the source. It's too high risk, it's complicated, there's no need, or they're disinterested. There are some people say like, I don't need crypto, I don't need Bitcoin, why do I use it? And just don't understand why, and the technology and the opportunities that it brings to the table. But overall, we are growing in the awareness of Bitcoin crypto space, which I really, really like. Apple is siding with Russian government restricting its Telegram. As you know, Telegram has been banned basically by Russian authorities because they failed to comply with the Russian regulations and like giving them the details of the private messaging encryptions in those user communication, and Telegram said no, we don't want to give this information. So Apple is now not allowing people to upgrade their software in Telegram on the App Store, and it's unfortunate that we are having this situation where Telegram is fighting with companies like Apple and not just Russia in order to keep up with their promise to their users that are going to stay anonymous and not give out any information about that. So there's a couple of things about that. Now, this is interesting, guys. Bittrex launches USD fiat trading. And if you go to Bittrex, there's now those USD markets that open up, and you can see it's Bitcoin, USDT, and now they've added True USD. So those are stable coins that are revolving around the US dollars that should be worth at any given time $1. So 1 TUSD is $1, and that's a very good thing that exchanges are having those, and they use a very good purpose. And for example, it hedging against the fall of Bitcoin crypto prices. So if Bitcoin is going to plummet and go down in value, you can secure it in TUSD or USDT and transferring back on the exchange into those tokens that represent US dollars, and they're not going to be fluctuating. It's going to be like very, very, very close to 1 USD dollar. right? So if the price of Bitcoin goes down, for example, and you have it in USDT, then you transfer it back and have more Bitcoin or have more altcoins for that matter. So it's a very good development. So they're moving out of Tether and more into True USD, right, which is an alternative to Tether. And I'm not going to get into the specifics and details of why they're moving out of Tether, but just allows you to understand, guys, that you want to use that feature, and it's available for you when you register on Bittrex exchange. Now, Brisbane is the airport in Australia that is now the world's first crypto-friendly airport that accepts Bitcoin Core and Dash and Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, NEM, Steam, even Steam, right? They accept Steam for traveling tickets, which is kind of funny how it all started, but how we all like relate value and like traveling and buying plane tickets and with a Steam. I mean, come on. These maintained by a lot of like group of independent authors and bloggers and whatnot. But this is a huge airport, and this just further shows the adoption rates in the world of Bitcoin cryptocurrencies. And I'm going to be seeing more and more airports accepting Bitcoin crypto cash in the near future, you know, crypto assets. And they're always like pioneers in every industry. Like in the airports, there's the pioneers, and the like say, we are going to do it. We're going to lead by example. We are going to show, you know, and support Bitcoin, and the other airports are going to follow suit. And Japan's firm, Yahoo, is confirming the entrance into the crypto space as well, and it's dominating basically Japan searches, and the online company in Japan specifically, and they are now entering the crypto space, acquiring a stake in the Japanese cryptocurrency exchange that is already licensed by the country's financial regulator. So it is, again, further shows the adoption of Bitcoin cryptocurrencies. And now we have a new website that's launched called localbitcoincash.org. So we have localbitcoins.org, this website, localbitcoins.com. And in this website, you can buy and sell Bitcoins near you. It's a very popular, the oldest probably exchange, peer-to-peer exchange between people, and now it has 16,200 cities, 284 countries, which you can do all kinds of transactions with Cash.U and AdCash and credit card and MoneyGram and whatnot to buy or sell Bitcoins. And now Bitcoin Cash is also entering the game. They're opening this exchange just for Bitcoin Cash alone, fiat exchange and crypto exchange. And again, this is awesome news for Bitcoin Cash, as more adoption for Bitcoin Cash. And according to some people, Bitcoin Cash can overtake Bitcoin at some point in the future. Although I don't see it is really happening. I don't believe it will happen, but it might happen. Okay, and that's all that it matters. What's interesting now that Ethereum's active and unique addresses actually overtake Bitcoin addresses, which is a tremendous amount of growth for the Ethereum platform, which a lot of big fans of Ethereum, they say, we are going to just smash Bitcoin, be number one, and overthrow Bitcoin, because you can see the unique addresses, like the charts that show how many new addresses are being used and registered on the Ethereum network. The growth has been absolutely parabolic, right? And this just shows you the rate of adoption. Exponential growth. 100,000 new registrations are logged each day, and Bitcoin stands at 24 million, and Ethereum is 35 million unique addresses, which is kind of cool. 300,000 new addresses in several days during January, all-time high new registrations. So does it really tell the whole story of like, will Bitcoin be overthrown by Ethereum just by that stat alone? I don't know. But Ethereum has a lot of functionalities that Bitcoin doesn't provide, like smart contracts, and it's just a totally new dimension and technology that doesn't exist in Bitcoin. So will it be the preferred vehicle, preferred currency, and a store of value for people? I don't know. Like Ethereum doesn't have a cap on its supply. Like if you go and see the Ethereum right here, there is the circulating supply of 99.8 million Ethereum, but there is no cap. There is no like maximum supply like there is on Bitcoin. So on Bitcoin there is a maximum supply, and there is a scarcity attached to Bitcoin, which doesn't attach to Ethereum at all. But in any case, you know, it can happen in the future. I'm not going to deny the possibility of it happening. And we are 2 years, guys. 2 years, like from May this year to May 2020, when Bitcoin is going to be halved. The block rewards on the Bitcoin blockchain is going to be halved in 2 years, which means right now miners are getting 12.5 Bitcoin per block, and in 2 years it's going to be 6.25 Bitcoin per block, right? So with that being said, it's usually around those times Bitcoin spikes, you know, because the miners pay their electricity. It's the most costly thing that for miners, like they need abundant electricity. They need to pay for the bills in order to find those solutions and find this number that will be able to encrypt cryptographically and put it on the blockchain, right? So with each difficult, like it's going to getting harder and harder and harder to mine Bitcoins, needs more computational power, and producing less Bitcoin, less reward. You know, they're pretty confident in this area. They're not stopping their difficulty, and they just expect the prices to go up during this time. So we're just 2 years ahead of that. You can see the price spikes since halving. There was halving in 2012, and there was halving in 2016, and during those times the price is going up, right, in a couple months after the halving. And the hash rate, guys, so for you to understand what is hash rate is the number of like computations per second that needs to happen in order to put into this hash function in Bitcoin. So the more the hash rate, the faster the computers are. And this is really what is called the Achilles heel of Bitcoins. It's the need for electricity. It's operating out of proof of work, which requires the miners to solve we call them complicated puzzle. It's really not a complicated puzzle. It's really a guessing game, like a lottery that people are the more tickets you buy, the more chances you have to win. So like the more you have power in those chips to mine Bitcoins, the more guesses that are going to be made, and the more chances they're going to win. So they must upgrade their hardware again and again in order to win the mining game. I'm sorry, my son just here.
אתה יכול לתת לי כדור טניס?
כן, אני עוד מעט אתן לך כדור טניס. So yeah, this is still the Achilles heel for Bitcoin, as in a sense that the electricity is partially controlled by the government. Like there is private corporation, of course, but the government can impose sanctions on electricity and whatnot for Bitcoin miners, etc. And as long as we rely on this power, and we must rely on the electrical power in order to mine Bitcoins. Without it, Bitcoin will be dead. No new Bitcoin, no transactions will be recorded, and all of that. And 40% more than 40% of mining power is concentrating inside China right now. So in any case, we are that's one of the things that we need to kind of see how Bitcoin progresses and whether they're going to develop any other solutions. And of course, there are alternatives for proof of work consensus. There's proof of stake, like Ethereum is planning to move towards, that will save the energy reserves as Bitcoin consumes a lot of electricity. And new ideas are popping up, how we can save electricity, how we can make mining less consumptive on electrical needs, right? So those are the news for today. So today's in Crypto Show, and I'm super excited to share with you really soon, guys, several new vehicles of how we're going to grow our wealth in the Bitcoin cryptocurrencies. It's going to absolutely rocket, and you're going to love this, as I'm preparing the ground for this to happen probably in the early phases of 2000 in the early phases of next week. I'm a little still jet lagged from all this travel, and also it's important to emphasize that if you hold the TechCoin tokens, if you have bought TechCoin tokens previously, then today is the last day to register inside Digital World Exchange and open an account and send an email to the support at Digital World Exchange with how many tokens you have purchased from USI Tech, and they're going to reimburse and give you an equal amount of DWE tokens, which currently sell at about 29 cents. And make sure that you have your verification started, and hopefully, guys, you'll be able to match that. It'll be worth those tokens that you'll be able to transfer them to Bitcoin and use it for use the exchange. All right, so with that being said, guys, I'm going to see you on the next videos, updates, and let's have a fantastic